Hello everyone, welcome to episode 14 of Berry Fun Adventures. This is Tanya coming to you from southeast Minnesota, and you will notice that I am not in my normal location. I was not quite feeling the sit down and record everything vibe lately, so what I've done is I have put together a kind of a vlog episode of things that are happening around the farm because it's been very busy with our farm getting ready for spring and the new fruit season. And then also there will be lots of crafty, fibery content that I will put in later. I finished an object, I had a hat finished, and then I have lots of new cast-ons that I want to share with you. But this episode is going to be a little different because there'll be snippets of video mixed in with me talking. So I hope you are all well, and I'm going to get to work. This morning I'm in my kitchen because I'm making 5 batches of jam, well, 4 batches of raspberry jam and 1 of grape jelly. So my boys are outside, they're uncovering strawberries for the new season. You can see my water is starting to boil back there, so I have to get to work. So I hope you're well, and I will be popping in and out to talk to you about things going on and showing you what's going on at the farm. I wanted to take a quick moment to share with you a couple of finished objects that I have completed since I last put out an episode, and I have been kind of on a hat kick. So I have finished 2 hats. So the first one is the Musselburgh hat. I'm just going to move this one aside for the moment so that it's not in the way, but this is the Musselburgh hat, and it is a pattern by Isolde Teague. And it looks, like a typical kind of pattern, just straight stockinette stitch. But what's kind of cool about it is that it's actually, I'm going to try and do this one-handed, it's a big, huge tube. So what you do is you cast on from this end, and then you increase to the right width according to, or the right circumference, I should say, according to whatever gauge you're currently getting. And then you knit all the way down to the end to a certain point that tells you in the pattern, and then you decrease. And the great thing about this pattern is, of course, that it is created for any weight of yarn. So you can simply start knitting, and then based on your gauge, Isolde Teague kind of tells you how many stitches you need based on which size you want to make. So it's a really cool pattern. It seemed a little boring for me for a little while when I was in the middle, but that's just because it was knit, knit, knit. And even though I like this yarn, I'm kind of ready to be in a more vibrant color palette right now. I noticed a lot of the things that I had on my needles right now were blues and greens, which I do like, but I think there's something with the change in weather that's making me want to cast on something brighter. So here's a shocker. My 16-year-old son liked the Musselburgh hat so much. So his dad claimed it first, but he liked it so much that he wanted me to make him one. And he went to my yarn stash, and I said to him, I'm not sure that I really have anything that you want me to knit this out of, because I had some fairly bright colors, and he chose this. Never in my life did I think he was going to choose this, because it's quite vibrant. In fact, look at, you can see kind of how the light is blowing it out. But it is by Sea Turtle Fiber Arts. It is called Meadow, and it is on their Ridley sock 80 superwash merino, 20 nylon, 420 yards. And I'm actually kind of excited to cast this on. This is going to be a soon to cast on project because it's so bright and colorful, and I'm kind of done with all the really darker colors that I was knitting in the winter. And then the second hat I want to show you tonight is the Weather hat, and I believe this is a free pattern on Ravelry. It is by Megan Williams from the Stockinette Zombies, and I love this hat. I have made it before for a gift. It has a really simple yet fun pattern. You can kind of see the zigzag there with the twisted stitches. So this is in Very Fun Yarns' new base. It is the Zebra Worsted base, and it is 100% Peruvian Highland wool. It is not superwash. It is just regular wool, but it is really, really soft. And mixed in between the skeins, or I'm sorry, I said that wrong. Woven into the skeins is not only the natural white, or it's more of like a grayish white, I would have to say, the natural color of the sheep wool, but also some of the black sheep. So some of the black wool, and that's what you're seeing here. It's sort of kind of at this gauge it did kind of a striping, but I think at certain gauges it could do a pooling as well. So this is the weather pattern, and it has it has a beautiful twisted 1x1 rib, and then it has some of these fun twisted ribs, and then the pom-pom on top is by Northern Stitches. I might have to look that one up. I will put it on the screen for you, but it is also a Minnesota maker out of more northern Minnesota, but I love how it turned out with this pom-pom on it. So I'm hoping to get some of these kits, some of these black pom-poms that she makes, and have them available for those of you who are interested in the new Zebra base for hats, because they go perfect with them. So here's just a quick peek at the colors I have dyed so far on the Zebra worsted base. So I've done, this was the one that the hat was made in that I showed you. The color did not come out super great when I was videoing the green, but this is a green. I call this mint tea. This one, and this is dyed with a new dye that I got. It's called copper chlorophyllin, and it is a liquid dye that I get in, no, it's not liquid, it's powder, but I turn it into a liquid. And it is comes from edible green plants such as alfalfa and dead nettles and things like that. The second one is a beautiful purple, which I believe, yep, it's blackberry. So this is dyed with logwood, so you can see how the black is woven in there nicely. And then this deep blue one, I am loving this one. This is dipped in logwood, so this is called Overalls. And this one is a little more subtle where the black is. It blends a little more because the blue is so deep. But right now these are not available in the shop. However, they will be hopefully in the near future. For the moment, I am keeping this new worsted base. So it is 218 yards, 100 grams. I'm keeping this worsted base until I get a bit of a supply of it. It will be available only in person at the Rochester Farmers Market, which starts the first week of May. If this is something you're really interested in, please just reach out to me and I'd be happy to get you a special order of it. And like I said, I've only done these 3 colors, but I hope to be doing some other colors soon as well. A second new base that I have just dyed up is this new slub base. It's not new in the world of dyeing, but it is new to me. I have not carried it before, but this is a fingering weight yarn. It is 438 yards, 100 grams, 90% superwash merino wool, and 10% nylon. So it has these really fun kind of, I don't know if you'd call them unwoven bits. They're like chunkier bits of the yarn. And the yarn itself has a much different twist on it. You can kind of see here. It kind of is kinky. I guess almost like when you knit a project and then you unknit it, but that is how it comes. So these are the first 3 colors that I will have available on Slub Fingering. This one over here is Overalls, so indigo dyed. This one is the Mint Tea, same dye that I used on the zebra worsted that I showed you. It just takes the yarn very differently. And then this is a new color, which I am in love with. I am calling it Courage. It's sort of I used to carry, and I think I still have a few in the shop, a colorway called P.S. I Love You, and that was sort of my tribute to breast cancer survivors and those who have fought cancer and have not won. But anyway, this is my new colorway for that, called Courage, and I am super excited to actually knit that up. This is a skein I have wound into a cake, and I am super excited about getting that cast on the needles. So this is Slub Fingering. So this too is not currently in the shop online, but for right now I am going to be featuring it at the Rochester Farmers Market starting in May 1st. The days slip by me. Probably not available in the shop till later in May. But these are the first 3 colors, and again, if you have any requests or you really want to get your hands on one of these colors, please let me know and I will do what I can, even though it's not in the shop. And because so many lovely projects now use mohair held double with a fingering weight yarn, I did dye up some mohair to match those last 3 colors that I showed you. So this is the mint green, the overalls, and then Courage on mohair. So those are also going to be available at the Rochester Farmers Market starting May 1st. Otherwise, if you're interested, feel free to shoot me an email and I can help you out with that. The other exciting addition, this one is actually available in the online shop, but this is the first installment of Lincoln's Littles, and these are the mini skein sets that I talked about that my son, who's 9, and I would be doing together. This first set is focused on Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. So they're based on books that he loves or is currently reading. And so he decided to pick a color for each of the main characters and then a couple of his favorites. So this first one is, I believe, Veruca. Veruca is the one who gets turned into a blueberry. So this is Veruca Salt. And this one is Mike TV. Third one here is Augustus Gloop. This one here is Willy Wonka, and then there's a cute little Sweets Progress Keeper there. This one is Violet Beauregard. This one is Charlie Bucket, and the last one is the Oompa Loompas. So if you are interested in these Lincoln's Little sets, they are available online, as well as they will be available at the Rochester Farmers Market locally. And when you do get the kit, it does tell you a little bit more. Lincoln shared a little bit more about why he chose each of the colors. So of course, as soon as Lincoln and I got those dyed and packaged up, he wanted me to cast on something for him. And he wanted a pair of shorty socks that were striped. So this is just sort of my shorty sock version. I did the Veruca for the cuff and for the heel, and then I will do it for the toe. And then I striped every 5 rounds. I started with just 4, but then I decided that I wanted it to be a little bit bigger stripes, so I had less weaving in. So every 5 rounds I switch, so that's going to be a scrappy sock. And I hope, it's 7 mini skeins, 140 grams, because each mini skein is 20 grams. So my hope is that I will be able to make 4 socks for him. So whether or not they are all shorties or not, we will decide, I suppose, as we go along. But he knew for sure he wanted 1 shorty pair. I have made some progress on a couple of my other whips. This one that I'm going to show you first is my go-to fingerless mitts, or actually they're called the go-to fingerless gloves, and they are by Donna Kimball, I believe. Yep, that's correct. And I finished the first one, so I'll put that on for you so you can see. But the yarn, while I put that on, is a one-of-a-kind skein that I got when I was in Australia. And I'm knitting it on my 9-inch circular size 0 needles from Chowgu, which I am loving. And it's being housed in a bag that I made myself. So these actually turned out really great. I messed up the thumb a little bit though. I forgot to do the ribbing on the end, so it just ended up having a rolled top, but that's okay with me. So number 1 is done, and I kind of took a break from these because I was working on the hat that I just finished, but I am sure these will be finished soon and they will be ready for me to wear in the fall. The next project that I cast on since last time, and I have been working on, is a fingering colorwork hat, and it is called the Barn Loft hat, and it is by Kelly McClure. Those of you who have been around a while will recognize that name. I believe she is the one who created the sockhead hat and cowl for sure. I'm thinking she's got quite a few other patterns, but anyway, the Barn Loft hat is actually 2 patterns in one. I am making the one that is pictured here in the red and then like the lighter pink color. But there's also directions in the same pattern for the tonal blue one that you see as well. So, like I said, it's a fingering weight hat, and I am knitting it in Berry Fun Yarns, Berry Tough Sock, and we have 2 colors here. This one is Funyun Onion, and this one is Butter, which is a little bit more tonal pale yellow. And both of these are dyed with different amounts of yellow onion skin. So I cast on, I didn't get too far, but I cast on and I got the ribbing done, and then I started the color work. I am loving the color work actually. And what's great about this pattern is that if you've never done color work before, it's very simple in the sense that you don't have to worry about catching your floats, because the pattern is so that you never really have more than 4 stitches of the same color. So that is really nice. The one modification I made is, I believe the pattern, it is a paid for pattern, but you can do like a 2-inch rib or a 4-inch rib to roll it, and I split the difference and did a 3-inch rib. So I'm excited to see how that turns out. I do have kits available in the online store for making this hat. They're not specifically labeled as for this hat, but they're called colorwork sets, and they are 2 200-yard fingering weight skeins that are coordinating that would look really great knit up in this pattern. So that is an option if you are interested in making this pattern and don't have 50 grams each of coordinating colors, but you don't want to spend the money to buy full skeins, because you really only need half of a 100-gram skein for each of these 2 patterns that are in the Barn Loft pattern.